https://discord.gg/flat-earth. Welcome to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord channel. Be sure to go to VC Chi Check and 1 to get your VC verification tags to get involved in the conversation about our Earth. Be sure to bring your verifiable Earth curvature evidence, though.
Enemy spotted.
AJ.
Gas
who
is
did that shit?
omnidirectional.
It was a
Whenever
genuine
we
question.
Sorry?
It was a genuine question, and someone just went, bruh. I'm like, what? Kind of rude.
No. Yeah, it's a genuine question, and I responded genuinely by saying to you that gas never contains itself. Gas is omnidirectional. So no, you can't have gas as a sealant. No, sorry. That's never been displayed anywhere. It goes against natural law. Natural physics. It never happens. Okay?
Hey, Jen.
Yes?
AJ heard because we're not alone, AJ. So there's other DJs here.
Yeah. There
So
are other
DJ.
people within this discussion. So you may have heard somebody blurt out something. We apologize for that for now, if you were distracted in any way, negatively. But can you understand where we're going with this at the moment? Seriously speaking, it would be impossible for a ball Earth to be hurtling through the universe without some kind of container to protect the pressure we have. The pressure's here. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So that's your first. Please don't say I guess. You must think positively and cognitively here, because it's important. Okay?
I'm just trying to collect myself after what just happened, I guess.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I suppose it's. I'll stop ribbing you on the guess. That's your position. That's the way you are at the moment. That's your phase. You're going through the I guess phase. I understand. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to mention that again. You can say I guess as much as you like. Basically, all I'm trying to say to you is that you've agreed and conceded that it would be impossible for Earth to be a ball hurtling through the universe without some kind of container. Is that correct?
If I got to keep it real with you, I'm actually completely clueless about all the stuff about the Earth, but
okay.
I don't know.
I'm glad you said that. So let's go back to the beginning then. First of all, have you ever seen the curvature of the Earth in your life?
No, I've never been on a plane.
Okay, so you've never been on a plane. Have you been on a tower or a mountain and surveyed the Earth that way? Have you ever done that?
The highest I've probably been is probably on Eiffel Tower, but I don't see.
Oh, that's good. So when you looked over at the Eiffel Tower, did you notice how flat everything was and the horizon was dead level? Do you remember that?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you were to go back and look at your photographs, you're going to notice.
I couldn't take any photos. I was like 12.
Oh, you were 12 at the time. Okay, you were 12.
Yeah, it was like a scout trip.
I was able to take photos when I was 12.
It was a scout trip, okay? I couldn't take a photo.
No. I totally understand. No problem there at all. It's fine. You weren't able to take photographs. You didn't have a camera. No big deal there. No problem. What about in recent years? In recent years, have you been to the beach, for example, and noticed how the horizon's dead level?
Yeah.
All right. I feel that would be impossible if we were living on a ball Earth. Shouldn't we be seeing some curvature? Shouldn't we? I mean, for example, let's keep it simple.
Stop laughing. It's making me feel weird.
Yeah, don't worry. Let's keep it. You're in the UK. You want to go to New Zealand, okay? If we put a protractor where the UK and New Zealand are, we can say that that's about 160 degrees, 150, 160 degrees. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What did you say? I was like...
Sorry, I said if you're in the UK where you are, and we want to go to New Zealand and Australia, looking at a protractor, it would be 160 degrees. Yeah?
Oh, that's that little mathematical tool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So the angle from England to New Zealand would be about 160 degrees on that spherical ball, wouldn't you say? Yeah?
I don't know.
Would you agree or disagree?
I just said I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. Well, okay, let's look at it. Picture it. Picture it. You're in the UK on that globe ball. You're now going to go over to New Zealand. It's near Antarctica. That's if you do the angle on that, it's about 160 degrees roughly. Yeah. Okay. Now that being said, it would mean that if we got in an aeroplane, the aeroplane would have to follow the surface of the Earth, that curvature, and it would have to go through that 180 degrees, which means that the aeroplane will no longer be horizontal. It will be following the curvature of the Earth, and by the time it reaches New Zealand, you would be upside down in that plane, would you not?
Like the plane would flip upside down, like completely.
Yeah, because it's following the curvature of the Earth. For example, I'll try again. If you put your hand on a beach ball at the top, that would be the North Pole. Then the bottom of the ball would be the South Pole. Now, if you follow the contours of that ball, the curvature, you'll see your hand become an invert upside down, wouldn't it? Yes?
Oh, yeah, because it like follows the path.
Exactly. It follows the curvature of the Earth. That's what I mean by the aeroplane would do the same, which means you'd be upside down, wouldn't you? Do you get it now?
Sure,
Yeah?
I get it.
Right. But in actuality, when we go to New Zealand, the plane is horizontal all the way. It's a horizontal flight, measured with a spirit level and a bubble app. It doesn't follow any curvature at all. And that would be impossible, don't you think, if you're living on a ball, as you've agreed, yeah?
I mean, I'm not a pilot, so I can't really say.
It's not. It's not a requirement. You do not need to be a pilot to know this. Pilots have already said the Earth is flat anyway. The pilots have spoken out. So, but it's not a requirement. It's not a requirement. It's a ball. You've got your beach ball. You've got UK at the top, New Zealand at the bottom. You put your hand at the top. Your hand follows the curvature, and you can see that your hand is becoming inverted. So picture that hand as a plane now, following that same curvature. It would be upside down, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. But in actuality, as I've said, when we go to New Zealand, the plane doesn't follow any curved path. It's dead level. How do we know this? Because we get our entertainment flights. We release the seatbelt. We're walking up and down the aisle to stretch the legs. We get our blankets, soft drinks, meals, movies. Do you understand? That wouldn't be possible if we were following the curvature of the Earth. Would it?
No.
You wouldn't be able to move around the plane if it's going upside down, would you?
No, you'd be like falling on your head or dying.
Thank you. But in actuality, you don't fall on your head. You do get your meals, your drinks. You do walk around the plane. You do release the seatbelt and walk around. That proves that the aeroplane is flying on a horizontal plane, yeah? Do you get it now?
Yeah.
Right. There's no curvature experience is the main point. The point I'm alluding to is that we don't see or experience curvature during flight. And that would be impossible if we're living on a ball Earth. Okay? That's one piece of evidence that you can go and check for yourself. If you ever take an aeroplane. Ever. Another one is a ship. What? You're not planning to travel ever then, no?
I'm a bit scared of them, to be honest.
Okay, what about ships then?
Yo, can you just fuck off doing that shitty little brass sound? Fucking hell.
Yeah. What about ships?
Sure. Oh my god, who is this shit? It's annoying. Shut up. I hate soundboards.
Yeah. So what about ships? Are you
It doesn't matter what you think!
Is it CB doing it?
It's not me, I'm not doing it.
How could you CB?
Right. Now, can you just answer the question, please?
Yes.
Are you confident on sailing on ships? Are you confident with ships? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Right. So now we're at UK. We're at Portsmouth. Southampton, the south coast of England. We are on our way to Africa, Nigeria. I made this journey myself back in 70, 71. Okay. Now, we're on our way. Now, if you're looking at the globe, ball, Earth, that's a downward trajectory, isn't it? Isn't it?
Sure.
Right. Exactly, isn't it? Because you've got UK at the top, you've got France, Spain, Portugal, then you hit the west coast of Africa, Morocco. That's all going down, isn't it? Yeah?
Mm.
Isn't it? From the ball, from England's geographical position on that globe ball, it's near the north, right? It's a downward trajectory, right? But when you get on the ship now, the ship's deck is horizontal all the way. That again would be impossible because we're on a downward trajectory. So there's no way that ship would be horizontally level. It would be off horizontal. It would be following the curvature of the Earth. You'd be sliding off the deck, wouldn't you not?
If you put it
Because
how
again,
you're saying it, sure.
Yeah, because from England to the equator, we could say that that's 90 degrees. All right, sorry, that's a 45 degree angle, sorry. That's a 45 degree
Yeah.
angle. And then we want to
You're
go past the equator
sliding
because
one.
Nigeria
It's
is
fine.
past the equator. So that's 90 degrees. So 90 degrees is not horizontal, is it? Sorry, 45 degrees is not horizontal. Is it? It's 45 degrees from horizontal. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So sailing on a ship also disproves the globe because the journey is totally horizontal all the way. I've made that journey myself twice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a horizontal journey. The horizon all around me for 360 degrees was dead level. We actually got to see the Seychelles as well. Sorry, the Canary Islands. Sorry, from the west coast of Morocco. Yeah. West coast of Africa, Morocco, we could see the Canary Islands. That should have been hidden behind curvature.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to give some respect to Jin. Jin, how are you, brother? Good to see you again. Always a pleasure to listen
Thank
to
you. No, thanks for the welcome and welcome to you, sir. Have you
How
had a
you
good
been,
day?
brother? Yeah.
I've been-
Great day. Great day.
Yeah, I've been very well. Whilst I haven't been on this server, I've been destroying them on other servers. That's what.
Oh, I can imagine. I already know how you operate, Jin. Trust me, I understand.
Yeah, and then of course I went camping to Fukushima 2 weeks ago now. Okay, lovely
Nice.
camping
How
with the
was it?
family. Oh, it was
How was it?
brilliant. It was
Nice.
brilliant. Yeah, and
Nice.
the people in Fukushima are very, very nervous about the people I met. Anyway, they were very nervous about how the world views them because
Sure.
they're currently disposing of the radiated water into the ocean. Okay, and they're
Okay.
concerned
So
how they
would you
look on
mind?
the world stage.
Would you mind if I ask, like, what perspective do they have of the world to them? Like, what do they think the world perceives them as?
Well, they're really concerned that they might be getting some negative press with what's going on with Fukushima at this as we speak.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that's the current issue at the moment. Is environmentally, Japan is a baddie. It's doing very negative things in releasing this water. China has severed its business tie with Japan regarding the importing of seafood. So they no longer import seafood from Japan at the moment. And
So
China was number one market was China for Japan. Number
I
one.
understand. So very, very harsh restrictions are going on now, is what you're saying.
Right. And the people who are living
Okay.
in the Fukushima area are very deeply concerned of how Japan looks on the world stage. Okay, I detected that from them. Yeah. It was definitely apparent that they're really concerned. What their government is doing, they're not happy about that. And they're also concerned on how they look on the world stage. Okay?
I understand. But did they have a
Because
negative role?
the Japanese people have a high respect for the people of Earth. They do have that. Okay?
But did they have, to your perception, do you believe they had any negative role on, the creation of the situation that exists right now? Or do you feel like it just came upon them? Or do you feel like they did something negative before it had
Well,
transpired?
well, Japan is to blame if you look at the government, not the Japanese people. I mean, if they're guilty not doing the research and not protesting loud enough that nuclear plants on an earthquake zone, it doesn't match when you've got renewable energy in the way of thermal, hydro, solar, and wind. Do you know what I mean? Right? So they're guilty there. But it's the government that's at fault because they were persuaded by Britain and America to go the nuclear route, okay, nuclear plant route, and it's turned out to be a disaster.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah. So the Japanese people are, if they feel guilty, it will be because they didn't protest enough, loud enough. Didn't
Sure.
push the government. Oh, yeah.
Sure. But I think we know. I think we know. Sometimes it's like there are like forces at play that like tamp down the loud voices, and even if the loud voices go out, it's like let's be honest. They have enough police force. Like when it gets to 1, 2, 3 days, they squelch it quick. Like that's why that's one thing I respect about Paris. I used to live in Paris for 6 months, and it's like I watched when I was there for literally just the 6 months that I was there. I saw maybe 3 strikes happen, and I mean like the city shuts down. Like nothing works. Like when they're not fucking around, they're not fucking around. And I was like, whoa! I was like, it's an interesting thing to watch one time as an American, just happening to live there when the strikes happen. And like, I'm sitting with people at a cafe. Remember, my French isn't that good, so like, remember, I don't even know what's going on. But they're explaining it to me, and they're like, "Oh no, the city shut down. Like nothing's gonna happen today." And like the cockiness in their voice, I was like, "They've done this before." Like,
oh yeah, they're confident.
Politicians don't rule Paris. Like the people rule Paris, and it's like the politicians have to stay in line with them. So it's like it's something to admire, I would say.
Yeah, I've been in your situation where I went to Spain to play football with my work colleagues, and there was a protest against nuclear plant building in Spain, and we joined the protest. We joined it. Okay, there you go, marching down the street of Spain, and also in Italy. I took my fiance at that time. We went to Italy. Okay, it was my treat in April, and they had a demonstration against nuclear, and I joined that march as well in Italy on holiday.
So what are your perspectives against nuclear? Like I'm not too well versed in that space. I don't know why you'd be against it or it.
I'm going to quote Robert Kennedy Jr. here. Now, since he's made his presidential announcements speech, okay, during that speech, he informed us that no nuclear plant in the world or even in America is insured because the insurance companies don't want to insure them. So they're subsidized all the way from the first brick going in to build that plant from the taxpayers' money. They are subsidized. And it's the most expensive way to boil a kettle of water, nuclear plants, okay? So that's where we get that from. That's why they're no good. They're dangerous. I mean, if insurance companies won't insure them, that tells you they're not safe,
Hey, Jen, I have a question for you. Have you came across those videos where it was like, I think the series was called like the lost truth of flat earth, or like, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a series where this like some guy from London that had a deep voice, but he talked about how like, how they have like castles all over London.
Yeah, he said basically the lost history of flat earth. I've got it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Lost history of flat earth.
It's 5 hours long. I've got it.
Oh yeah. It's extremely long. Like, but I'm patient. Like I watched all of them. I watched the first and the second series. But did you see the part where they were talking about how like the older like cathedrals as well as castles of London, they actually had a kind of like a biochemical way to produce energy? Did you see that?
Yes. I found that very
What did you think about that? What did you think about that?
Well, it's funny you say that, right? Because as a little boy walking around England, and we have these Gothic churches and these magnificent buildings with these beautiful roofs, I used to think they can't build these buildings. Listen, I'm a boy in the 60s and 70s, and I realized that they couldn't build them like that now. Isn't that amazing that I had that foresight as a child looking at these buildings thinking, wow, they can't build them buildings like that now. They built some brilliant buildings back then. So I was fascinated by watching that. Yeah. I was
me as well.
Hook,
Me
line, and
as well.
sinker.
Listen,
Yeah.
like Jen, I spent my time in church, Jen. Like, so it's like I was in the cathedrals. Like, you know what I mean? I had the inside perspective. So I was
Yeah.
like, how the fuck? I was like, they don't build anything like this nowadays.
Yeah.
No, they can't.
How's that
Yeah.
for my insider's perspective?
Please go ahead.
And minister who also went to Duke Divinity School, that's a cathedral. Yeah, we get it. I mean, I'm just saying tone down the arrogant part because it's not necessary, you know. So.
Oh,
Anyway.
sorry. Yeah, well, we mean this sincerely. I mean this
Wait,
sincerely. Those
wait, hold
buildings,
on.
those buildings are magnificent, and the
Wait,
fact that they could have had some kind of a use for electric to power the community, and that is amazing. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah,
So there's
but
no derogatory tone in what we're trying to say here. We mean it sincerely.
yeah, I don't believe we exuded a
Perfect.
derogatory tone. But like, what part did you think was arrogant?
And I came in the conversation late.
Yeah, but I know. But what part did you think was what part did you think was arrogant?
That this as a child, that I just told you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Told you. It was
Can
just
you hear me okay?
She's roboting.
Yeah, I can tell.
Can you hear
I
me?
can tell. Yeah, I can hear you. What part did
inside
you
of a
think was
Walmart.
arrogant? Yeah, I know, but like, hear me out. What part did you think was arrogant about what I said?
I know. I have an
I'm
answer.
here to tell you right now, we don't care.
I thought it was the British guy speaking.
No. As far as I'm concerned, I meant everything I said sincerely with the highest respect for those buildings because I see them as quite intricate, very demanding in precision, and I think today's builders can't do what they did back in the old day. That's all I'm stating. Okay. Did you get that?
I caught it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. That's all I was saying. That and watching that documentary, it educated me on the fact that they could have been used to power and send energy and stuff around the community. I was amazed, and it made sense because when I was a kid, I'd realised that I'm talking. I may have been like 12 years old. Okay, looking at these buildings in Britain all around, because there's loads of them in central London. Okay, and I was thinking, man, they can't build buildings like that today. Look at the precision and the intricate bits and pieces that make up the building. Wow.
Oh, I feel you, Jim. I feel you, Jim.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. Like, I sense the same thing. Like, because remember, like, I was a fan of these buildings since such a young age. Like, I always thought these buildings were beautiful. So, like, I paid special attention to them. And, like, when I got a chance to walk into a church, like, I'd be by myself sometimes. And, like, if the church door was open, I would just walk in by myself just to take a look. Remember, it's like,
yeah, I've done that.
Because I grew up in the church, I never felt like a church door was like closed to me, so I can always walk in.
They
you
never
know what I mean?
are.
Like I'll just sit in the corner by myself, and they always are.
In England, they're never closed. You can go.
They're never closed.
No.
So the people that can't walk in them, like for some reason, they feel like they can't walk in those buildings. Now I question that reason. Like, why do you feel like you can't walk into the church? Like,
you know why I used to walk in there? I used to walk in there for the smell. They have a unique smell.
I think I figured them out. I think I figured it out though, because they understand the church comes with a series of judgments within the disciplines and the beliefs of that particular church. So you can't really walk into that church if you don't align with those beliefs. Because remember, you almost know the judgment is coming from that belief if you walk into that church. But if you're in line with those beliefs, there's no reason you can't walk into that church.
Yeah. I never had that problem of the belief thing because I
me
went
either.
Purely for interest. And one of the interests was the smell of that building and the wood and the polish. Everything had a distinctive smell when you walked into a church.
I agree. Because remember, like, let's be honest, like, Jin, like, I'm not like naive enough to think that there are not people that studied like myrrh and all of the things that they burn in the process and understand biochemically what happens within the human body when they shit. Like, I don't know what happens, but it's like I already know someone has done the biological neurochemical analysis to figure out what happens within our mind when we breathe or consume certain substances. And to think that they haven't done the math in advance when these are the people that are running the world would be foolish. Like, you think you're smarter than them? You think you're smarter than them? No, they're smarter than you. The only thing
Yeah.
you should
I
pay
mean, for
homage and pay
example,
respect, so you
let me
might
give
figure
you
something out. Like
right.
the thing
Let
that
me
when
let me
people
give you
can't
an let
catch
me
that,
give you
I'm
an
like, oh,
example
I was
of
like,
what
Jerry,
you said.
leave them where
Let me
they're
give you
at.
an yeah. Let me
Leave them
give
where
you an
they're at. What are you
example.
gonna? What are you? Are you gonna force them to pay attention? No, no,
No, no. You
no.
got to lure them into it. You got to
It,
lure them and
that that
relax them
that is
into it.
that is that is a
They've got to be
waste of one.
relaxed.
But is it not a waste of one's life? I should just live my life to the best of my ability, and those that want to emulate will emulate. If they don't want to emulate,
Yeah,
cool. What can I
yeah,
do? I
yeah,
can't force you.
yeah.
You know
So
what I
I
mean?
went. Yeah, I went to an elementary school called Saint Mary Magdalene's Elementary School. So there, and the church was adjacent with the school. So you walk through the school and you go downstairs into the crypt, into the church. Okay. Now, we used to go to church on a Wednesday. Okay. Now, on a Wednesday, I remember this. I remember we would have had maths in the morning, maths. Then we would go to church. Okay. After church, we'd have PE, and then PE, after PE, lunch, and it was always salad. Salad Wednesday. Never forgotten it. I never forgot that day. Okay, isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
What was significant about that day?
Well, it was because we had salad and I was super hungry and I didn't like salad.
Okay, okay.
That's why, you know what I mean? And I would have to give my luncheon meat, you know, the pork luncheon meat, because I'm a Muslim, I don't eat pork. So the pork would go to another kid, and then the dinner lady would give me more salad and more potatoes to make up for the loss of the meat. Okay?
I understand. Oh, Jen,
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
then
know you. I
I
didn't know
get an
you.
extra apple or an extra banana.
I didn't even know you were a Muslim. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not a practicing Muslim, but certain things I don't do. You know, I don't eat pork. I do drink
I think
alcohol. I do observe. I do observe Ramadan, but I don't eat pork. But
you know. I still
um,
dabble. I still dabble on the pork and the alcohol, but you know, it's a process. You know,
but that's what happened.
I'm happy as I am so far, so I'm not gonna rock
Yeah,
the boat too much.
me too, me too. But that's what happened because there wasn't any Muslim schools that we could go to in the 60s. And I attended that school, I think I would have to estimate between 1967, 68, all the way through till I got to the age of 10. 10, 11, 12, yeah, 12. And then I left, went to secondary school. So the thing is, I remember Wednesdays in particular as church day. And it was, you know, when you'd go downstairs, you sing the hymns, you know, stand up for Jesus, etc., etc., etc. You know, yeah, great,
No,
great,
I understand.
yeah,
I'm here to
interesting
tell you
times.
right
But
now,
I was always looking at the
we don't care.
architecture.
Let me tell
That's the
you,
point.
we
I was
don't
always
care.
looking at how the building was put together, the stained glass, and how they made those patterns and everything else, and all the lead that was used to join the glasses together. Because if you're into building blocks, Meccano, Lego, then you're going to be interested in the. It's just natural for boys to be looking at the stuff and looking at the construction. You know, all the wooden beams and the
Of
spire,
course.
the
No,
spear,
I understand.
all the way to the
It
top.
it makes sense. It makes sense. You know, I think if anything, like we're just surrounded by distractions nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think we're
So,
boring. Jen, I think we're boring somewhat. Like, as a,
okay, sorry
Oh,
guys.
bro, we have
uh,
guests, guys. We have
sorry,
guests.
creation. You're tapped out.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying we have guests in the room. So,
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's go ahead then. Please
Bring
welcome
him
the
up.
guests.
Bring him up.
Please,
I'll have a chat with
welcome,
someone.
I mean,
welcome,
you kind
welcome
of
everybody.
interrupted the conversation to shoot the breeze. I'm just
No,
saying.
let's shoot the breeze. Let's
I'm
shoot
here
the
to tell
flat
you right
earth
now.
or the.
We don't care.
So who's new in the room?
Well, I was
Me,
talking to
apparently.
AJ. I was talking to AJ first and foremost.
AJ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me.
AJ, how are you today, brother?
Apparently I'm a bit angry, but other than that, I'm pretty good.
Okay, so self-proclaimed angry, or someone told you you were angry?
Creation bear. It's been a bit of
Creation
a
Bear
meme
told
right
you you were
now.
angry.
Don't know why.
All right, well let's you know let's take what Creation Bear told you off your shoulders. How do you feel?
Great. A bit tired,
Okay.
but
Then,
I'm just not
how
gonna.
do you
I'm not
feel
gonna
about
listen.
the
I'm not gonna listen.
information you've been
Yeah,
given thus far?
yeah, thus far. Listen, let's listen. I'm all about the clean slate approach.
Yeah, let's talk about the information that he's received thus far. Lack of curvature, and lack of movement through space.
Well,
What do you
I
think
can't hear
about
you
this?
because someone's speaking over you.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of voices there. All I'm trying to say to you, AJ, is that how do you feel about what I've said about the lack of curvature, air pressure, gas can't contain itself. We're not hurtling through that universe at 2.3 million miles an hour, covering 19.2 billion miles in 1 year. It's just not happening. But how do you feel about that? And I'll let someone else take it over from me, if that's okay. Please answer the question.
If I got to keep it real with you, my attention span's not that good, but I'm not gonna react to it.
Well, let me help you on a little bit. You haven't seen the curvature. You said that, okay?
Yeah.
You haven't experienced that Earth is spinning, okay? Could it be that the Earth isn't a ball and it's not spinning? Couldn't it just be like that? How old are you now, anyway? How old are you now?
20. I did say.
Okay, yeah. So you're 20 years old. You've been alive for 20 years, and in those 20 years, you haven't seen or experienced the globe Earth that we're being told we live on. Isn't that odd? Don't you think?
I mean, sure.
So Jin, would you mind if I spoke to him for a minute?
Please,
So,
you may. Please go ahead.
yeah,
Be my guest.
thank you,
Be my
brother.
guest.
So brother, you're 20 years old right now, right? So what we're trying to tell you is that I am 43, and Jin, how old are you, brother?
I think it's like 46.
40. Jin, I don't know. Jin, how old are you? Is he there? Fellows. Okay. Well, Jin is a bit older than me. Now, I'm extremely detail oriented. I do my homework. I get the right answer every time. I've had tons of hundreds on my test paper in life. I'm trying to tell you, this is an extremely complex subject. And because you're 20 years old, there's going to be a lot of information being thrown at you. Now, what I try to ask myself by myself is, well, Jerry, how are you going to figure out what's the right answer here? Right? So I say to myself, I was like, all right, well, let's try to strip away all of the assumptions of what other people think, and let's just digest the subject slowly by ourselves, only with information that is based on the scientific method. And like the whole point of the scientific method is to produce things that are observable, repeatable, demonstrable, and like they prove true every time you do them over and over to everybody, not just me.
Hold on a second. What does that word you just said mean? Like the demonstrable one? I don't know what that means.
That's okay.
Demonstratable. You can
demonstrable,
demonstrate.
yeah. Demonstrable.
All right.
Yeah. Demonstratable. Okay.
Yeah. Because remember, if I can demonstrate
I'm
it to you.
61. I'm 61 years
You're
old.
61. Thank you, Jen.
I'm
He's
61 years old.
He's 61. I'm 43. And like, I think Jin is one of the smartest people I've heard on this server. Now, he's very passionate and like he wants people to catch the subject because he understands the importance of it. But I'm more like, I'm just like a New York kid from the projects. Like, I chill out on the block and I don't give a fuck. I just happen to stumble across the subject and I understand how important it is. It is, if you understand it. Now, most people are not going to understand it, and we understand that. But if we could help you with like where you're having the conflicts in your own head, because if you just be honest for once, we will explain to you where you've made a mistake. We're not trying to tell you what it is. We're just trying to point out to you where you've made logical fallacies that are keeping from seeing what we're trying to explain to you. But if you argue, it gets harder for us to keep wanting to sit here and, source things and point things at. But like, that's what I'm just trying to tell you is what's going on here. It gets harder and harder for us to want to sit here and try to point shit out. Because remember, if the Earth were truly round, how would the server have been here for so many years and no one's been able to shut us down or tell us to shut up because we're shredding through these conversations? Like, you haven't been here long enough to hear all the conversations, but I have. And I'm trying to tell you, like, if you just sit here long enough, you'd be like, we don't lose any of these arguments. We win all of these arguments. We're just trying to get you to catch the nuances as to why our arguments are stronger than the other arguments. But you have to be paying attention to catch the nuance.
Sorry, what?
Bruh.
Oh. The hell?
think he's busy playing Roblox or something. What's up, Jedi?
Happens. Creation, how's it going, bro?
What's up? What's up?
Jedi, how are you, brother?
Chilling.
Jedi, I see you lighting up, but I don't hear anything.
My friend.
Does this mic work?
Yeah.
Well, then, down mic.
Yeah, I think Jedi's got a little bit of a connectivity issue there, a Wi-Fi issue.
That's
He's
that's all right.
along. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever he comes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
He's
Please
usually
carry on though. Please carry on because you've got his attention now. Now walk
Yeah,
him
that's-
through it, please.
Yeah, okay. So brother, like from your perspective, when you think about the subject of the flat earth, like where does your attention focus to first?
Wait, you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what did you say?
I said when you are presented with the subject of the flat earth, where does your attention take you to first?
Like, what do I envision? The flat Earth?
Like, no, when
Words that are coming out of my mouth.
no, I'm saying basically when you're handed this perspective, where like logically, where does your mind go to as the strongest argument that you can actually back up first? You know what I mean? Like how do you reconcile, the myriad of opinions on the subject and like which voices allow you to debate themselves in your mind so you can find a right and a wrong?
I don't really know how to explain this. Like, there's like lots of things in my head, but I just don't know how to say them. It's hard to like.
No, just
say
speak the way. Remember, just say whatever you. So I think the best way to start is like, what were the sources that you looked at first? So let me say it this way. Let me say it this way.
Allow me to interject for 1 second.
Sure.
Wait a minute. He's complete beginner. He's not sure of the model at all. It's all new to him, so we have to be careful of the language you use, the technological words we're using. We need to spoon feed this guy, thin it down, step by step, ABC 1, 2, 3, and help him along to understand what he's been told. He doesn't even understand that what he's been told isn't real. So we need to help him along.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Thank you.
I understand.
Sorry.
Thank you, Jen. No need to apologize. I appreciate it, Jen. Thank you. So, okay, if I had to say it to you like this, brother, let me tell you how I figured out it was flat. The way that I figured out it was flat, and I said to myself, it's like the arguments on the flat side are very strong. But remember, I've known this my whole life that it was a globe. So how do I figure out who's lying, right? So I said to myself, it's like, all right, well, space is all the way up there somewhere, right? And I'm lifting my hand pointing towards the sky somewhere. That's over there somewhere. But the dirt that exists under my feet is touching my feet. So if I had to start my evaluation or my thought process, it might be a bit stronger to start it under my feet than to start my head in the sky. Because the dirt is touching my feet. If I'm going to measure something or figure something out, that argument might be a bit stronger than the argument that exists in the sky. Do you understand my perspective there?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So when I chose that route to try to, deliberate between right and wrong, I said to myself, it's like, all right, well, how is someone going to tell me it's flat? I was like, well, how can they prove that, right? So I came across one of the studies called the FE core laser experiment. And what the FE core laser experiment did was they built and they constructed an extremely high powered laser with a very sharp direct beam that comes out of it. And if you know anything about lasers, they're directly straight lines. Because remember, like if you do any construction
use lasers for, like,
they use laser levels to make sure within a millimeter it's flawless. Like it's not kind of flawless. It's a bullet straight line. And I do contracting, so I know this from using laser levels. Now they built a super laser level to shoot across extremely large bodies of water. Now what they did is they measured the level to the water where they, basically where they propped the laser up. They measured the distance from the laser to the water. And it is, X, right? Let's say it's X. And then they went super far away to where the laser has to actually hit a piece of paper, so they know where the laser's hitting, and they measured that distance to the water, and it was the same distance, X. And then they basically did the reverse math, basically on the proportions of the Earth that we were told exist. And when they did the reverse math, the numbers did not add up to what exists in reality. Through the laser, they saw X at the beginning and X at the end, and what should exist given the mathematical proportions we were given. So hence the discrepancy, hence the argument that we're embroiled in. Now we know we're correct because we did the math. So we're just basically waiting for other people to humble themselves and do the math to catch up.
Why do you keep on having laughing attacks or something?
Why am I laughing? Because at this point in my life, I find it funny, and I almost can't stop laughing because what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You think I'm gonna get angry? No, I'm not gonna argue with idiots. I'm just gonna sit here. Now, if you choose to do the math, you will discover the same thing we've already discovered. That's the whole point. Do you understand what I tried to say to you, though?
Sure.
Hell no!
Bro, this is crazy. Right?
Yeah.
Bueller?
What's going on?
Bueller? Are you there? Okay, I didn't lose you. Okay.
Did you?
Is that me or is he lagging?
Yeah, Jedi is he needs to get closer to the satellites or something. I just want to ask a quick question, AJ. You said something like you were like, "Well, I haven't been in a plane."
And you bashed on me for being scared of it or something.
No,
that made me angry.
I'm not trying to bash you. I'm just asking, do you think that being in a plane would allow you to see curvature?
Well, from what I've heard, no. But then I've seen how on the plane apparently it's curved glass or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean Google will say that you should be able to see it from a plane, but I think most genuine people who believe in the globe will tell you that's not true. It's not. They say the globe's too big to see curvature. So even in
the only form of the curve I've seen is media, like Red Bull jumps and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean even then they say that that's not high enough as well. There's a couple clips and some tweets and some math that we could go over that kind of breaks down how it's even that's not high enough. Although I did see that Red Bull jump too. It does appear to be planet in Mexico or whatever. We could probably go over
how
that.
high do you have to be to see the curve?
Yeah, that's a good question. I heard that you have to be hundreds of miles away. They say that
How far away is
curve in which way? 1.2
Uh,
times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Sorry, CB. How far away from the Earth do we have to be? 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet to see curvature down and away from you.
Well, you're overcomplicating it. You're going to make me confused.
Yeah, I know. But you're asking how far away we have to be.
You just say it in
the curvature of the Earth.
Just say it in
yeah. I will. There's two types of curvature, right? One, left to right of the horizon. 2 away from you over distance. The surface of the Earth is curving away from me. What type of curvature do you want to see? Left or right or away from you? Because if it's away from you, literally, I don't know, how tall are you? That's how far away from the Earth that you should have to be to see the curvature of the Earth. Literally as tall as you are.
How does someone's height play in that?
Because if we're looking for physical obstruction of things over distance, like, I don't know, a lighthouse or a boat, then your altitude above the curved surface will determine how far away the limitation of that curved surface will be. 1.2 times the square root of your observer's height in feet. So if you're 1 foot above the surface of a curved Earth, then the physical geometric horizon's that mathematical calculation away. The square root of 1 is 1. 1 times 1.225 is, guess what, 1.225. Therefore, you should only have to be 1 foot above the surface of the Earth to see the Earth curve. You understand that?
If you don't want to hear it from us, there's like a 90-second clip of someone kind of breaking it down for you. It's about the same math. You know, like most people are like 5-6 feet tall, so it would be about 3 miles. So if you're 1 foot off the surface, 1.2. In the video, he says like if your head's in the water like 8 inches, then you have about 1 mile. I'll just go ahead and stick it on. It's only like 90 seconds. We can take a quick listen.
Hi, I'm Josh Clark and this is Brain Stuff, and I'm here to answer a very pressing question. Have you ever been standing at the edge of water, say like an ocean, and looked out on the horizon and said, I wonder exactly how far away that horizon is? You know, where the sky meets the sea, that's the horizon. Well, it turns out because the Earth is curved that it depends on where you're standing and how far above water you're standing. Let's say that you are in the water, right? And you're up to, say, your eyes are about 8 inches above the water surface. Well, again, remember the Earth is curved, and despite the ocean seeming flat, they actually curve themselves, which if you've ever really looked at the horizon, it kind of goes like this a little bit, which is pretty cool. But it also goes like this, right? So if your eyes are 8 inches above the water, right then you're about a mile away from that horizon point where the sky meets the ocean as far as you can tell. If you're standing up above water and you're like I am about 6 feet tall, that means your eyes are about 5.5 feet above the water's edge, which means that you're about 3 miles away from the horizon. Isn't that amazing? Going from 8 inches above water, 5.5 feet above water, is the distance between 2 miles between you and the horizon.
There you go. Same thing that Jedi was saying, essentially. If you're 8 inches above the water, distance to the horizon, 1 mile. If you're 1 foot off...
Could you, like, send the link to the video so I can watch it at later time?
Sure thing. There it is in the chat. It's from like 9 years ago. It's an old video. But yeah, essentially the math is all the same. Well, if you're 1 foot, distance to the horizon, 1.2 miles. If you're like 6 foot tall, 5-6 foot, then the distance would be about 3 miles. So it depends on how high off the ground you are. So that's... pretty simple stuff. What's up, Elijah? You want to get in on this?
I mean,
just vibrating.
No, you're doing your thing. You're doing your thing. I'm just chilling, listening.
So what? Well, I'm a bit confused. I was just joined in. What part of that don't you get, AJ? Is it like the fact that we see more when you raise, like your perspective?
What did you say?
Are we talking about like how we see more when we raise our perspective? Is that what we're kind of trying to comprehend?
We were like speaking about how high you have to like be up in the space, well, to see the curve. But then we went to like the actual height of your person.
Yeah,
two different types. Sorry, CB. There's just remind the gentleman, AJ. There's two different types. Two different types of Earth curve, mate. Left to right and front to back. This 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, what the gentleman in the video was just talking about, front to back, from you to an object at distance. The other type of Earth curve that you're talking about probably is the left to right Earth curvature. You wouldn't even see that if you were on the ball.
Yeah, Bambi, it started because I think Jin asked him if he had seen curvature, and then his response was, "Well, I haven't been in a plane." So I just asked, like, "Well, would you expect to see
wait.
it?"
Wait, so you know that picture that Drace just put in, if I'm understanding this right, you're on about like where it goes from the first book to the other book, like that straight line. Is that like where you're supposed to see the curve? Well,
that's what Jedi was saying. There's side to side and front to back. So yeah.
I always get confused when people are confused.
I'm really confused.
I was having a conversation about this yesterday, which is why like I wasn't. What are you confused about? Okay, actually, let me be honest. I don't believe you. So we're gonna figure out whether you're confused or not.
You don't believe that I'm confused? I'm super duper confused.
Yeah, well, we'll see. What did the video show you?
What video were we speaking about?
As a matter of fact,
talk about the video that was played. I haven't really watched it.
So
I'm gonna watch it at a later time.
No, it's like a minute and 30 seconds. So CB, just show him the video.
Yeah, I apologize. I got muted. Sorry. Who muted me?
Check the chat, Vagabond. You had some feedback, brother. You have the ability.
Oh,
to
apologies.
So.
I didn't catch it.
Well, let's focus, guys. So we did a 90-second clip. I gave you the link. We also listened to it as well, Jedi, Elijah. So you should be able to pick up where we left off.
Bambi, how are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you doing?
Amazing. Chilling, hanging out.
Cool. Everything's so confused in here. We're confused about what we're confused about. And we're confused why people are confused.
Listen, I have no answers for it.
So, wait, is the bug still in here? The little AJ guy? Yeah, you are. Cool. So your initial question was about...
If I may just
What?
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interject there. I think the reason he's confused is obviously because it's new to him. Okay. Right. No problem.
No,
the other guy. I couldn't hear you. Oh my god.
There's a lot of feedback from you.
Bambi, can you save us, please? Please save us.
I think you're on saving. So you were saying about what height you would need to be to see the curve. I mean, I don't even think they know what height you would need to be to see the curve, because like at points folk were talking about, remember that? I can't even pronounce the cunt's name, but it was like the Red Bull jump. Felix, I call him Bumgardner.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's his name. It could be Bumgarder. I don't know. The Red Bull jump. I call him Bumgardener. Like he just gardens some bums. But apparently folk were saying it's some. But we're saying I hate that CV. Fucking hate you.
I'm so sorry.
Folk were saying at points like, oh, you can see curvature in that. It's very obvious a GoPro because it like convex and it like curves back on itself as well. So like, I don't even think they know what height you would need to be to see curve. They just say it's there. But from what we observe, it's not there. So the thing that always stumped me about Flat Earth was like, you come to the realization that it's all to do with your observations. You observe a nice level horizon, flat, stationary. You observe like things moving above your head, and that's like the only movement you really observe. You don't feel yourself moving or anything. So if you were to just forget all of your education and stand at the water, you're not going to think you're on a massive ball that's tumbling with you and things spinning around you and you're rotating around the sun. You're going to look up and go, I see things moving above my head and I can see so far until I raise height. You know, I know you've not been in a plane, but you've probably, you know, been in an upstairs house or whatever like that. So you can see more when you raise your elevation. So we can observe those things. Why would we think we're anything but flat and stationary? When it comes to the Earth being a globe, it's just what people tell us. There's nothing that you or I can do to go prove that. Do you not think that's like fucking wild? That you and I can't go out and prove to ourselves, like a wee cool wee mini thing that we could do in school, that the Earth is a ball. We observations, experiments, measurements, whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to do. Do you not think it's weird? There's nothing that you and I can prove.
I mean, the amount of money that they spend to do it, I guess, yeah, it's a bit insane. I wouldn't want to do that.
Not even about the amount of money. It's the fact that we're living on a massive rock that's tumbling and spinning through space. Surely we should be able to prove that ourselves, right?
I just want to say I think that was flawlessly said. I'm, you know, like, I know when I hear flawlessly spoke logic. Like, I thought you did a very good job there, baby. Like, that's exactly how I want to say it. Like, it's exactly what I would want to say.
Yeah. It's just as well, but once you kind of realise that, you start to look at it and go, right, cool. So it's on the TV. I was sitting in primary school and we never... And another thing to think about is you're in Britain, so you had pretty similar education system to me, but I'm assuming you're British, but pretty similar education system if you are.
Wait, me British? No.
I'm Scottish, but it's part of Britain.
I'm not British. I'm American. I'm from New York.
I'm not you silly sausage.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Interrupt me, Mr. Beta Mail. Hold on.
Sorry. Wait, can I go do something real quick? I'm still listening. I just have to go on mute.
That's cool. I'll just rant and rave. You can reply when you want. But yeah, no, you're just in school. It's never taught to you. You don't have like a subject that kind of... I mean, we made planets out of like paper mache at one point. That was cool. And then there's just a massive globe in the wall and it's in your textbooks and your math questions involve it. Like, but it's nothing to do with the maths or anything. It's just, there'll be a picture of the moon in your textbook for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And there'll be a picture of Earth in your textbook with no context whatsoever. You never get taught it. It's just kind of thrown upon you and you don't even realise it's being thrown upon you until like you get very much into Star Wars like I was. I loved that shit. And it makes you want to want that shit. Like you want to be on a ball, you want all these other planets, you want these extra lives and shit. Like I want Star Wars to be real, man. Come on.
Oh, I understand. I promise you. Like I watched these movies like they were for real. Like I believed it. I took it hook, line, and sinker. You know what I mean? Like I got to do properly. So, like, you know, I feel like I'm overly angry as a result. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, like, things like that, like
no, I'm
Star Trek, Star Wars, like all the movies and shit like that, they make you want to believe in that. So when it gets questioned, you're automatically going to be angry about it.
Of course.
Debate them, man. I know. No.
But yeah, no, it's something to think about as well. You can't prove it, you can't measure it, you weren't even really taught it. It was just there and it's just assumed to be true. And you get met with kind of hostility and you don't realise just how little you know until you come in here and speak to people like us who will tell you more about your own heliocentric model than you were ever taught or ever know. You just see pictures and most people think that that's proof, but when you put a wee bit of thought behind that, you realise that a picture isn't proof. I could show you a picture of a unicorn right now. Does that make it real? Nah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. So do you believe like through like one's experience in like elementary school and then junior high school and then high school, the way that they interacted with others is going to be directly correlated to like their ability to sit down and have the patience to digest this subject? Because remember, it's like the way that you acted throughout your life is going to be kind of who you end up being, right? Because it's like if you're lazy and you didn't do your homework, there's no way you're catching the subject. You know what I mean? There's no way. I already know. It's way too much work for you to fucking digest. So I already know this dumb motherfucker is never going to catch the subject. I have to be honest about that point. And because I know that, I was like, I try to figure out like what degree of people are not going to be able to digest this subject. But I'm honest about it. I'm not mad. I'm just honest about it. And I think it's a small percentage, unfortunately. We don't care. Got it. Yeah, I got it. Bambi, what do you think?
I don't know. I think like there's obviously some people, and I encountered one the other day, Creation Bureau Verify, that this guy was a cunt, who just are not there to learn and are not there to be able to comprehend. This guy was in VC. Apparently somebody that's known. He was like, I took him to VC to give him a roll and he starts screaming at me, and I mean screaming. The man was bursting blood vessels, and he wasn't even in the live stream. It was just because he wanted to question me about the curvature, and I was like, dude, calm down, it's a VC check-in, I'm just here to give you a role to speak. And he starts harassing me and he's like, define curve, and I'm like, no dude, I'm asking you questions to give you a role. So he starts freaking out that I can't define curve. But anyway,
why do you feel like he didn't want to make his way into VC to just have a longer conversation?
I think because he couldn't physically comprehend that if he just took a minute to step back and allow somebody who he thinks is dumb a second to speak, I don't think he truly grasped the concept of what I was trying to do. And I was saying to him over and over again while he was screaming, I was like, look, if you take a breath, you'll hear that I'm trying to put you in a room that is live streamed on YouTube with so many more flat earthers that you can reach with your so-called gospel truth. So sure. I was trying to help him in the sense, get in there and scream at as many people as you want. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
you know, you can
get it out.
Get it out. You won't last very long, but you might as well go in and do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I understand completely.
But I definitely think there are some people who come across as not being able to be taught and not being able to listen to what you're saying. But I think a lot of the people we do speak to do actually
So to what I was saying earlier, do you believe that's something that comes from our childhood? Or do you believe that's something that is like baked upon us as we get saltier, like, you know, I don't know, just more like adversely nature instead of just chilling? Like, you feel like people are raised? Or is like, do you feel like it's more nature or nurture?
Can I make a request?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go for it. What's up, bro?
Y'all want to take this to chill text?
Yeah, bro.
No. We were talking to. There's a guy that is questioning stuff. He's just AFK for a bit.
We can change the subject.
Yeah, we were talking about the shape of the earth. I don't know how we got onto that, but he's went deaf now, so whatever I say to him, he's not going to hear anyway.
No, I told him to go watch the video because I want him to tell me what he doesn't understand in that minute and 30-second video. Or you. He could tell you. I don't care who he tells. I just don't. It's hard to imagine that someone doesn't understand what the video is saying. I don't get it. So he got to tell me what it is.
I watched the video.
Thoughts? Reactions?
I mean, it's pretty interesting video, I guess. How even a little bit changes.
Well, all due respect, kind sir. Do you remember what I asked you?
No, I don't. Now shut up. I don't care.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Eli, give me two seconds to speak.
No, Jin. What the fuck?
Give me 2 seconds to speak.
No, Jin. No.
Shut up, bitch.
I just want to know one thing. What about this minute? What about this minute and 30-second video don't you understand?
Well, a lot of things in it, but I think it's interesting. Right, okay.
Well, the question is not, is it interesting? The question is, what about it don't you understand?
You asked me what are my thoughts on it. I tell you what my thoughts on it, and then you tell me that I can't have a fucking thought on it. So what the fuck?
You see what happens when the right questions get at they like, I don't know, they fucking
oh my god. Shut the fuck up.
Emotional, damn it.
All seem sincere. Whoever gives these people roles, you guys don't really You guys are useless, man. Like I swear to God. Like
Okay, wait.
Jesus Christ.
Why don't we just take a deep breath? Is he still here, the guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you gain? What did that? Okay, so let's just hypothetically.
I'm not
I
gonna comment
don't
on
know
the
that.
video anymore because I just.
Okay, but you don't have to talk to him. You can talk to me. I'm not gonna bite your head off. So hypothetically, I don't know what the video is you're talking about. What is it? What was it trying to explain?
How when you're standing on the net.
Yeah, I was talking, Jay. Let me make good inroads here.
Oh,
Jen, please, just for a
Okay.
second.
Is it possible?
Shut your fucking mouth.
Hey, what's
Sorry,
happening now?
what were you saying? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I'm just trying to ask you a question, my guy.
All that happens
So
when I
what?
try to speak. Everyone that does this, like with the
Sorry, he
soundboard,
won't.
it's like.
Yeah, he won't. You can mute
Just
the
focus
soundboard if
in
you
on
want. I just realised that too.
Baby's voice, please.
You don't have to hear the soundboard if you don't want to. And Jin's muted for a second. So hypothetically, I've not seen the video. You were gonna say what it was.
Oh, I forgot what I was gonna fucking say. Yeah.
You said something about somebody standing.
Oh, right, standing. Oh, I can't be asked. I've lost the flow. Oh my god.
Just
Bam,
mute the
it's the
soundboard.
video we listened to, the quick clip where he says, if your head is 8 inches above the water, distance to horizon is 1 mile. If you're 6 foot tall, 5, 6 foot tall, like most people are, distance is 3 miles. So we were talking about seeing curvature, right? Left or right. And there's also front to back. In the clip, he says you can see it both. You can see it curving if you look really close. But we were talking about how when you go on a plane, you can't see curvature. It's not high enough. So he asked, how high do you need to be? And then you said that they don't even know. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Seeing curvature.
Okay.
And then we can move on to testing for the curvature if you want. So that's kind of where we're at, AJ. So just to bring this back full circle.
Cool. That's fine, though. I mean, yeah. I mean, when a topic like this is new to you, getting a lot of things thrown at you at once, whether it's a video that you kind of struggle to comprehend, it can be difficult. So if you want, we can try explain it to you again and see if
Sure.
you can grasp it.
Okay, try and explain it.
So you understand, like, if we were on a ball, it would have to have a curve of sorts. So things that are out on a horizon would eventually no longer be able to be seen. They would, if you want to think of it like dropping down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can just talk about like the long distance observations alone, because I feel like that might be slightly easier for you to understand. So like, there's loads of videos where, has anyone got the boat one where they zoom it back into view? Somebody's got that GIF somewhere, I know it. But yeah, so like we can see a boat out on the horizon, the camera's like zoomed all the way out, and they zoom all the way in and it brings the boat back into view. The boat shouldn't be in view. It should drop down a curvature. It should drop, so you can, if you look in the live stream voice text, you'll see them. There's quite a few of them actually, because you can go do this yourself. This is the best part about the whole kind of flat earth conversation. Everything that we're telling you, you can go do it yourself. The globe isn't like that. You can't go outside and test something. You can't go outside and prove it to yourself. But this you can. You don't even need that good of a camera. Like I've got a Samsung, like a S21 Ultra, and I can zoom things back into view with 100 times in that it's got. You don't need a big fancy camera, but the point is you can go and do this. Like, see all these boats? They're all being brought back into view. Yeah, sometimes you can't bring them back into
buoy, like a floating buoy.
What one are you looking at, sorry?
Like, could I do this with like a floating buoy? You know, these things that are in the ocean.
So obviously the slightly smaller the object, the kind of pixels on a camera is going to be slightly harder to pick it up. It also depends on like what the kind of, I don't like the word atmosphere, but what the kind of weather is, the temperature is. If the air is slightly humid, you're going to struggle to bring things back into view. Whereas if it's like a clear day, there's a low humidity level, you're going to be able to see things a little bit better. So it does depend on what the weather is and what the temperature is like. But most of the time, if you live, obviously you're in Britain, we do have, unless it's pissing down the rain, on just a decently nice day, you can bring things back into view if you live near the water. You can do it on like lakes as well. You can even do it on like a smaller kind of scale. Has anyone got like the coin or the bottle? Like you can do it on a table with just a phone. So like you put a coin on the table, you put further away and it will disappear bottom up. That's just how we observe things. but you're able to zoom back in and bring them back into view because the coin's not going down a curve, and it's just a smaller scale to what these boats are doing. The boats aren't going down a curve either. They're just going out of what your perspective is. It's the same when you raise your elevation, you're going to be able to see the boat again. There's the coin one. Thank you. But the point of it is there is no observable curvature, and yeah, we're raising elevation, but there isn't any elevation that we can go to that you can see curvature, and they don't know what elevation to go to see it.
Well said, Bambi.
But yeah, again, like I said, the whole flat earth thing is you can go do most of this stuff yourself. There are even some sort of eclipses that you can see with the moon. Like I took a picture like 3 years ago of a Selenelian eclipse, which is completely impossible if we were living on a globe. Like that's just something that you can look to the sky and see yourself sometimes. It's quite rare, but you can see it. And it disproves what we're being told. Again, when it comes to living on a globe, there's nothing you and I can do. Nothing. We just have to take their word for it. Is that not like wild?
Pretty wild.
Yeah. That was all if anyone wants to chime in.
No, answer her question. Say it with your chest.
Huh?
Yeah, it's one of my favourite things. It's just the fact that things can be brought back into view when they shouldn't be brought back into view. The Earth should be curving away, and there's some that are like a wild distance. Like I don't know exactly what these boats are at a distance, but there is like the Black Swan, which we have numbers for that. It's a lot more math wise, and if you don't like numbers and calculations, it can be tricky. But if you take your time with it and sit down, you can grasp it eventually. It's just a lot to be thrown at you at once. Some people process things differently, so seeing the more visual side of the boats is easier than seeing the whole like times square foot 8 inches per mile square times the observer's height in feet can sound a bit kind of intimidating for some people. It was for me when I started, definitely. It's just we all process things differently. You've got to find the way to learn that is right for you.
AJ, you
Why
live
keep
near a
on
lake?
getting message requests? What the hell?
Yeah, what, sorry?
Got like 2 message requests saying stuff about ask him to define curve or something. I don't know.
I know who that is. So,
Yeah,
do you know how I was speaking earlier? There was you might not have been here. There was a guy that was screaming at me the other day to define curve.
I just looked in my
I
messages
didn't
and
define
there's
it.
like 2 people asking me to say stuff or something.
Yeah, so that's another thing that you'll see a lot with the Globers is rather than coming in here and either typing in the text chat or messaging one of us, they'll message the people that we talk to and try to like earwig and get kind of in them and be like, say this is this, say that. And then you, for some people, will turn around and say those words but not know what they mean. And it can get frustrating because you're saying stuff to us that it's just being wormed into you. So I'd watch what people are DMing you as well, because we're not here to
I haven't
defend
said
you.
anything you said. I only just
Yeah.
seen it just now. So.
I know myself, I've got 8 message requests and one of them's new as well. He's messaging me again.
It's a full house. It's good to see each and every one of you. God bless. God willing.
Thanks. Okay, Jen. Now would be the time if you would. Do you want to say something?
You're welcome, Eli.
What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.